Welcome to Paris and day 3 of World Archery's final Olympic qualifier. We're about to find out which men will win the remaining 7 individual quota places for Tokyo 2020. The sun's out. I'm Karen Bashir, and joining me in the commentary box is former world number 1 Nikki Hunt. Nikki, we've had a bit of rain over the first 2 days of qualification, but it's looking pretty sunny there today.
Yeah, the sun's come out, still a little bit of wind. We can see those big feather flags just behind the targets. The archer's going to get a lot of information from them, but the wind certainly has played a factor here with it changing direction.
Yeah, it certainly has. Well, look, a twist of fate has meant that we actually already know who, or which countries, I should say, have got the quota places. There are 7 different countries dotted across the 4 quarterfinals that we've got coming up. 2 Ukrainians are in the quarterfinals with 1 quota place per country available. And strangely, the 2 Ukrainians will face each other. And that is our first quarterfinal coming up. But not to fear, there's plenty to play for here. Bags of world ranking points, and of course, the penultimate big event before Tokyo happens here in the capital of France. So, Nikki, over qualification, we've had the 2 days of team qualification, which has meant a number of places have become available, additional places, I should say, ahead of this event. I believe there were just 4 places, and the 3 teams qualified, opening up some more spots.
Yeah, that's right. So the countries France, Indonesia and the USA, who gained their team places, already had an individual spot, and they've pushed those places into this individual tournament.
Shooting on target number 1, representing Ukraine, Alexei Gudbin. And his opponent, shooting on target number 2, representing Ukraine, Georgy Ivanitsky. The line judge for this matchup is Christina Tivliu.
Well, there we have it. The 2 Ukrainians going up against each other. The world number 87, Alexei Hunbin, who's a world medalist, up against his teammate, the 179, Georgy Ivanitsky. So 2 Ukrainians duking out. Now, we've been told that Ukraine have decided that they will not use this event as the decider as to who will take the 1 Olympic spot. But hey, Nikki, a win here is all important, isn't it?
Absolutely. You want to show your federation you're the best archer, and you should be sent to the Olympic Games.
Good start from Hunbin. Just 3 arrows per set here. Target score of 6 points.
9.
All square after 2 arrows, so a crucial 3rd arrow now from Hunbin.
9.
So they've matched each other there. The idea in the set system for recurve archers is to get the highest score over the 3 arrows. Here it's drawn, so it'll be 1 point apiece after the first set. Nikki, are you seeing any difference here, given the fact that it's not raining today and the sun is shining?
Yeah, the sun is out, so some sunglasses on, which help with some of the glare. You know, it's important for their string picture. So with the sun beating down, the string might look a little bit larger than usual, so that might affect what they see of the string picture. But you know, in this match, it shouldn't change during that time. So once they've got the right picture, they know what to look for. There should be no changes throughout the match.
Well, both the archers have coaching behind them, and let's not underestimate the importance of this match. Yes, Ukraine have said they're not going to use this as the head-to-head playoff for the one Olympic spot for Ukraine, but there's some certain bragging rights here, and of course the winner can go on and win this tournament, and that will give them a very strong case for the one Ukrainian spot. One apiece after the first set. So we'll move on to set number 2.
Both these archers taking a bit longer, aren't they, at full draw, longer holds. They get 20 seconds each to shoot their arrows.
Well, another 28 from Hunbin. Much longer hold here from Ivanskaya. Ooh, just on the line, and 228s again as in the first set, so 2 apiece. You mentioned the longer hold, Nikki. Is that because you think there's a little bit more wind here at the moment?
I think pressure more than anything else. That last arrow we just saw from Ivanskaya, you know, he was soaring on the edge of the clicker. You could just see a little bit of movement of the arrow, the clicker just sort of moving in and out a little bit. He just couldn't get through. So the nerves are here. You know, these guys know how much is at stake. They know they need to impress their federation to make sure they book their own ticket to the Olympics. So yeah, he just needs to settle into it, keep his movement, keep his flow, and keep that timing going.
Yeah, it's interesting as well when you look at both of these archers in between the sets, they're really stretching out. Now, you're a physio by trade. Is that a bit of a surprise given the fact that they have been shooting for a few days here?
I think it's the tension. You know, when you are under pressure, the intensity increases, the holds increase, you're putting more pressure through those muscles, hence why they're probably stretching out a bit. They're definitely feeling the pressure.
2 set points apiece. We go into the third. Just outside the 10 ring there. So a third 28 in a row for Alexei Hunbin. And that's the first 29 we've got, and a clear set point win for Ivanskaya, who goes 4-2 up. Has a chance to do this in 4 sets. Nikki, without the rain, already we can see the scores and the consistency of hitting the centre of the target is much higher.
It really is. You know, that 10 is the size of a CD, so it's a really high level, over 70 metres to be hitting it, but that's the standard these guys are at. And, you know, Advanced Sky, again, we saw a little bit longer hold on that last arrow, didn't we? A little bit longer than his others compared to those. But I feel for Hunbin there, you know, who's only just outside the 10 on his second arrow, so tight margins in this.
Yeah, it certainly is, but the quality is incredibly high. Who would want to be a Ukrainian selector for the Olympic Games when these two, well, there's just 1 point between them in terms of their total scores. But Ivantsky with the advantage, 4-2 up. It will be Alexei Hunbin to shoot first in set number 4. So all about putting the pressure on with these big scores. Well, the first one dropped into the 8 there. .28 again, that's 4 in a row, but a chance here to take it with a 10. Oh, snapped it out into the 7. Is that just about pressure then, Nikki?
I think so. A longer hold again, bit more movement. Just watch that clicker, you know, the arrow underneath the clicker, bit of movement there. And yeah, I just think, you know, that shot could mean that he would take that Olympic ticket. So the pressure is absolutely immense. Again, stretching out. They're just feeling tightness and tension in this match. So much at stake.
You may well know who's going to the Olympic Games or who's got the quota places, which countries have attained them. But this is perhaps the most critical of the 4 quarterfinals, with 2 Ukrainians going up against each other and only 1 spot available. We're starting to see some errors creeping in. 4 apiece after 4 sets. 1 more regulation set to go. It's going to go to a shoot-off, isn't it, Nikki?
Love a shoot-off. Let's have 2 more 28s and have 1 arrow closer to the centre. That'd be amazing.
Well, time for the 5th set here. Quarterfinals in Paris on the last qualifying day for Tokyo 2020, and that's drifted out to the left-hand side. Opportunity again for Ivantsky.
9. 8.
So a chance here to put this out of reach. And that is the 10 he needed, a 28 it is for Hunbin. Ivantsky can only get a 27. And shoots a 9 for a 26. And the 2 step points and the win go to Alexei Hunbin. And I wonder how telling that win will be, especially if Hunbin could go even deeper into the competition. Hunbin through to the semi-finals here in Paris. Wow, that was all about tension, wasn't it? And who could hold their nerve? And it looked like Avant Sky was going to take this in 4 sets, but pulled out a 7.
Yeah, he really had the opportunity there. You know, of these two, he's the lower world rank, and maybe he felt the pressure that, you know, if he could have won this match, that could give him that special thing for the federation that, you know, would mean he won the spot and he could go. But wow, so much pressure on it. I think in the last end, both arrows dropping low left, and I think the wind was just a little bit, you know, we could see from the flags were moving a little bit more that way. I think he was probably a little bit unlucky with those, didn't adjust, didn't make the adjustments in where to aim that he needed to, and yeah, a win for Hunbin.
Yeah, and I think that may well solidify his place in the selectors' minds. We're not to know. And of course, you know, whilst these places have been allocated to the countries, it is down to World Archery to confirm the quota places, and then of course for the nations to accept them and select their athletes. So the Olympic story isn't quite over yet.
2 hours of the afternoon we have for you. The judge is in position. The
sun shining beautifully here in Paris after 2 days of very inclement weather. We've in fact had a lightning delayed session on Saturday. It is a great pleasure for the weather to be good on this final qualification day for Tokyo 2020. We move straight on to quarterfinal number 2, and it's Dan Olaru of Moldova against Slavomir Ablosek of Poland.
Number 1, representing Moldova, Dan Olaru. And his opponent, shooting on target number 2, representing Poland, Slavomir Ablosek. The line judge for this matchup is Christina Eichmeier. Well, there it is, quarterfinal number 2.
Well, these two have both been to an Olympic Games before. Dan Olaru from Moldova is the world number 36 at 24 years old, finished 9th at the London 2012 Olympic Games. Slavomir Ablosek is the world number 79. He's 52 years young, and he went to the 1992 Olympic Games in Barcelona. Now, this would be some story for Ablosek of Poland if he could get the Polish place. If Poland select him, that will be a wide span of Olympic records, 92 and 2020. Olaru starts off the match, drifting out to the right there.
Nine. Eight. 10.
Very quick final arrow for a 26, but you've got to say that Slavomir Ablosek has probably got this one in the bag. Longer hold for him this time.
8.
Into the 8, but it is enough. A 27 is enough for the first 2 set points, and Ablosek leads by 2 set points, 2-0 over Olaru. Interesting match, this one, Nikki. They're both shooting much quicker than the Ukrainians. Is there a little bit of relaxation for these two because, well, perhaps they already know that they're going to fill the quota spots for their countries?
I think this is probably more usual timing that we would see. You know, a recurve shot is very dynamic, lots of movement. So I would say the Ukrainians were just fairly slow. They were spending quite a lot of time at full draw. I think Naplasek was, I could just see some nerves and tension in his hand and in the release as well. I think he's feeling the pressure a little bit, but you know, he's done amazing well to get through to this point, and you know, to, like say, to go to Barcelona Olympics 1992, first one I remember, and you know, looking at 2020 as well, what a fabulous achievement if he is selected by Poland.
Noticed you managed to get a dig in there to say that your first Olympics that you remember is 92. I may remember a couple of Olympics before that. Before we start set number 2, Alaru getting us underway with a 9. Despite that movement and the longer hold, he does seem to be hitting the middle of the target, though.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a bit of a reset here from Dan. So obviously wasn't happy with that shot. He's got 20 seconds to make that shot. You can see the timer clock ticking away, 5 seconds.
9, 8,
So big chance here for Alaru to put this one out of reach and draw level. And he's done just that. A 28 is an ungettable target for Naplasek, so we will have this one all tied up at 2 apiece here.
8,
So finishing with the lowest score so far today, a 25, but it's all square in the match. Nikki, we saw Alaru resetting, as you said, having to redraw. How much pressure does that put an archer under?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the archer and how long their shot cycle takes. So if you're a quick shooter anyway, I mean, 20 seconds for a recurve of a quick shooter is a lot of time. So, you know, he obviously wasn't happy with the shot. There was something he felt was wrong. He felt comfortable that he could come down and still make a good shot. And yeah, he had like 5 seconds on the clock, didn't he, when he let go? So, you know, that is possible. It's not recommended. You wouldn't want to do that. You wouldn't plan to do that. But, you know, to have that option there if things aren't right, you know, that's good to be able to do.
And how important is it to make a quick decision that I must redraw?
Very quick. If you're at full draw thinking about I might come down, that's not a good place to be. So quick decision and go with it.
Well, 2 apiece here in this second quarterfinal in Paris. Alaru versus Naplasek. Moldova and Poland have secured their quota places for the Olympic Games. This is about ranking points, and Alaru starts set number 3 with a 9 and makes a little adjustment to sight.
Another really quick shot. I was just going to say, interesting how his bottom finger is completely off the string if you ever look. So usually using all 3, as we can see here.
So important shot for the Moldovan here. Puts it into the 10 for a 27. So a 9 is enough for the points for Naplasek. He puts it into the 10 for a 29. This is up and down, this one. And Naplasek actually looking a little bit more comfortable in that third set, Nikki.
Yeah, he really did look like he'd just calmed down a little bit in the conditions. So, yeah, taking that one really comfortably.
A big question mark over that first arrow, sometimes given the angle of impact on the target face. Occasionally, there is indeed
the first arrow from Alaru is actually subject to a measure marked as a 9 as things stand. It's not going to make any difference other than for the scorecard, because Alaru trailed in that set by 2 points. We're getting a good look at the form of the two here, and as you can see, Dan Olaru of Moldova trailing by 2 points will shoot first in the fourth. Critical for him to fight back here. Another reset.
No. No.
Just a little movement at the front arm. Seen a couple of shots now, just losing a bit of pressure, I think, on that front arm.
No. No.
So, as previously, another reset. But Olaru can put this out of reach with a 10, and he gets the 10 he needs for a 28, and we are all square again. Blocek will take his final arrow.
8.
Shoots an 8 there, but Nikki looked a little bit more comfortable in that third shot compared to the previous two, the Polish archer.
Yeah, just settling down a bit more, you know, got to stick with the process here. I mean, Dan, I think that third one for him, he just looked like he came through the clicker too quickly and had to make that reset, but his finger position is really curious to me. His bottom finger is completely off the string. Even his second finger doesn't look like it's got much on it at all. He looks like he's practically shooting all off his top finger, which is, you know, pretty crazy, really. I mean, obviously it's working for him, but, you know, just have a good look at that at the next end.
I wonder if he's got an injury, maybe, in his fourth finger. That may be why. I can't see any strapping or anything on there, but could that be a potential reason for this curious action from Olaru?
It may be just something he's developed over time, and as you kind of rotate the elbow around, sometimes that means the bottom finger wants to slip off a bit, but like I say, not much even on the middle one.
Well, we're all square at 4 apiece. Time for set number 5. Can one of them find a breakaway arrow? A 10 start for Olaru, putting pressure on the pole, who seems a little nervous here.
10.
Just on the line, so we'll get the 10. So the door is open for Olaru here. A 9 will be enough. And it's a 9 that he gets, and a 29 to finish off. And the points will be the Moldovans, and he will make it through to the semi-finals.
9.
And a 27 finish for Blocek. He got a 29 in the third set, but in the end, Olaru won the last 2 sets cleanly to make it through to the semi-finals here in Paris. A little bit nervy from the pole.
Yeah, was some nerves there. You know, understandable given the day that they've had. Obviously, they've, you know, made those spots already for their country, but yeah, incredible pressure they've been under to get to this point.
Well, it is Dan Olaru of Moldova going through to the semi-finals. And remember, we're talking about ranking points now. The countries have secured their quota places here in the men's competition. Each of these archers will, one, be hoping to secure that quota place for their nation, and secondly, be looking to increase their world ranking ahead of the games. This is their penultimate opportunity to shoot in the heat of competition ahead of Tokyo. We are staying in Paris this week as we get ready after today for the third stage of the Hyundai Archery World Cup. And it's the final stage and the last chance to book a place at the season finale in Yankton, which comes after the Olympic Games in Tokyo. We're taking a look back, as Nikki Hunt, our expert, has already told us, that Moldovan using a very curious action with his fingers not where one would expect on the bowstring. And there, the 52-year-old Pole, Slavomir Naplosek, went to the 1992 Barca Olympic Games. Will Poland be selecting him for the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games, which of course are happening in 2021? That's a big span, isn't it, for any athlete to have competed in 92 and in 2021 at the Olympic Games.
I think that's one of the best things about our sport of archery. You know, age doesn't really matter. Pick up a bow, get out there, shoot and compete, and you can stand on the line with Olympians, you know, young archers, old archers, everyone's included.
Yeah, it is the beauty of the sport, accessible for all. Of course, you need somewhere that's at least 70 meters long to shoot a recurve bow. Well, certainly a competition standard.
Yeah, get down to your local club. Best place to go. Get some coaching, get some tuition, and, you know, where you can, socially distanced. You know, it's a social sport too, so it's a great sport to be a part of.
Yeah, and it certainly does lend itself to social distancing. Of course, World Archery and the hosts here in Paris have had to put in special measures to make sure this competition is going ahead, showing the flexibility needed in the current climate. You can see the archers wearing masks when they're not shooting.
There they are.
Now, we've had two of the quarterfinals already. It's time for quarterfinal. And number 3, who else is going to make it into the semi-finals here in Paris? Let's go down for the athlete introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, shooting on target number 1, representing Finland, Antti Wikström. And his opponent on target number 2, representing Hungary, Matthias Laszlo Balog. The line judge for this matchup is Christina Tifley. There you go, quarterfinal matchup.
Quarterfinal number 3, Antti Wikström of Finland is 28 years old and the world number 88. Matthias Balog of Hungary is just 21. He's the world number 280. Congratulations to the pair of them for securing the quota places for their countries. Now it's all about trying to get some more world ranking points and prove that they are the right athlete to go to the Olympic Games. Good grouping for the Hungarian, but Wikström can put this out of reach with a 10. Does just that. A 29 is a great start for the Finnish archer, and he'll get the first 2 set points.
9. All right, looking at the result there.
Balog there looked like he tried to make a little adjustment, just went a little bit too far over to the left, but promising start despite only scoring 27.
Yeah, he's just really unlucky, wasn't he? You know, too high, slightly right arrows just outside the 10, both touching each other, so great consistency. He made an adjustment, just went a little bit too far the other side, so he probably knows what he needs to do now just to get those into the middle, and we've got a match on our hands.
Yeah, certainly could do. It's looking very promising, but the early lead to Wikström. And the key thing about these archers is that they won't go to Tokyo as a team. These are just for the countries that haven't qualified as teams for the Olympic Games. So they'll be shooting solo. And Wikström with the lead means Matthias Balog of Hungary will shoot first in the second set. Corrections made, and the Hungarian's in the middle of the target. Nikki, we've seen so often, just one arrow can make such a big difference.
Yeah, at this level, you know, these guys are hitting the 10 regularly, so anything in the red really is a big opening.
9, 9. 8, 8.
Both drifting over to the right. And that puts this one out of reach, and Balog has struck straight back and will draw level at 2 set points each. Interesting to see where this third arrow goes for Wikström.
8, 8.
Again, he's made the adjustment and it's gone a little bit too far for a 24. I mean, the grouping of the first 2 arrows was very, very good. So, and the wind is consistent, so a bit of an aiming issue.
Yeah, possibly. What's unique about this venue right now is behind those targets we've got those feather flags, and I think they're quite sensitive to the wind. You know, they move quite freely, and as a recurve archer, you've got that in your peripheral vision. You can see around the target, so they're going to be seeing that movement at full draw. And I just wonder whether that's affecting their aiming points. That I could see them blowing left, and maybe they're aiming a bit too far right because they think, you know, look at that flag blowing left, but actually they're over aiming off potentially. So, you know, it is an unusual setup. We usually have like a solid wall behind the targets in the finals field. So, yeah, maybe they're just not used to having so much information.
Yeah, interesting. Trying to do a little bit of redirecting there. Longer hold for the Hungarian, that's for sure. Makes some final adjustments. We're all square after 2 sets, and Wikström will get us underway for set number 3.
Nine, 9. Eight, 8.
Well, immediate improvement from Wikström from the second set.
9, 9.
And again, we're in a situation where Wikström can put this one out of reach. 9 is enough. Puts it in the 10 for a 29, his second 29 of the match. So 26 for Balog, and a real improvement from Wikström after the 3-8 in the second set. In fact, you look at his scoring now, and the second set is a bit of an anomaly, really.
Yeah, 29, 24, 29. Bit of a strange one, wasn't it? But he just kind of circled around it, and we talked about, perhaps it was the wind that was just giving him a bit too much information, not quite knowing where to aim, but brought his consistency back there.
He certainly did. And one of the other things that you talked about is the swirling nature of the wind inside this circular stadium. And so perhaps it's very different on the shooting line compared to how it is on the edge, what is the edge of the stadium where the targets are.
Yeah, sometimes you can feel on your body the wind in one direction and the flags are doing the opposite thing, and that's one of the worst things as an archer. You just want consistency so you know where to aim.
Wikström has wrestled the lead back. Can do this in this fourth set. Balog will shoot first, and his job is to score high to put some pressure on his opponent. So a couple of big arrows coming up now, both on 19. Balog could do with a 10 here. Very long hold. Oh, he's just clipped the 10, and that keeps this match alive. A 29 for Balog. Or matched by Antti Wikström. Another 29 for him, his third in the match, and that means they will share the points at 5-3. Balog's kept his hopes alive in this competition.
We're just riding a wave of near perfection out here this afternoon. The weather is perfect. The venue is perfect. The archers are near perfect on the range.
I think we've just seen way more nerves from Balog up. We can see some trembling, some tension, obviously relaxed it now behind the line, but you can just see how much this means. This is a world ranking event as well. There's a lot on the line here. These archers want to get as much experience and good confidence from this tournament ahead of the games if they are selected by their federations. So yeah, it's an important event for them.
It really is. And on that note, how likely is it that we are going to see, we know it was only going to be one of the two Ukrainians we saw earlier on, but everybody else, do we expect them to be at the games?
That's more usual because we're only, I think, 32 days away from the games now. Federations usually allow those archers who've won the places to go. There's usually not enough time left to do another selection.
Well, at 5-3 down, Matthias Balog of Hungary is shooting to stay in this competition. Critical that Balog outscores Wikström in this one. He can't afford a tie again. That's what he so desired, that 10. Matched, though, by Wikström. Pressure back on Balog. Needs to get a 10, really, here. Taking his time to calm himself. We seem to be waiting an age for that clicker to go. A 27 leaves the door open for Wikström. An 8 is enough to get the single point he requires. And it looks like it is an 8. It's on the line, but an 8 is enough. If that gets marked up, it will have a difference to the final score. But we do know that Antti Wikström of Finland is through to the semi-finals here. We will wait for that measure probably on that last arrow. Did you get a feel for it? It looked like an 8 to me.
It was really close, yeah. I think we'll have to wait for the call. Probably an 8, but let's see.
Well, if it is an 8, Wikström will win 6-4. Gets marked up, it will be a 7-3 victory.
Not going to be the same on the women's side later on this afternoon, though. The stakes will be at an all-time high, of course, in terms of the women's competition.
Well, confirmation of the win. Well, we haven't quite had confirmation of the score, but it is a win for Antti Wikström. He's through to the semi-finals here in Paris. Mathias Balog a little bit tense through that one, as we've seen in the 2 previous quarterfinals. He will go away from the competition and celebrate the fact that he has qualified a quota place for Hungary, and we believe that he will be the Hungarian who will compete in Tokyo.
De notre discipline. En tous les cas, plaisir de vous accueillir donc dans cette belle localité, un stade parfait pour évidemment.
Very limited crowd here as the world restrictions start to ease. Still a lot of social distancing, of course, but it's great to see some fans back in the stadium. Of course, some of those in the stadium, in the stands, will be the archers preparing for the Hyundai Archery World Cup. But here, matters of importance are on the quarterfinals. 1 more to go, and out they come. It will be Bazazhapov of Russia against Shani of Israel. Let's go down to the stadium for the athlete introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, shooting on target number 1, representing Israel, Itai Shani. And his opponent, representing the Russian Federation, Galsan Bazazhapov. The line judge for this matchup is Christina Reichmeier.
Well, this is a big ask for the world number 130 from Israel, Itai Shani. He's just 22 years old. He's going up against a former world university champion and a world medalist, world number 4, Gazlan Bazazhapov from Russia. Nikki, this is perhaps the most one-sided of all of the quarterfinals.
I think you're right. Yeah, you know, anything could happen though. The underdog sometimes has less pressure, so let's see what they can do.
Well, it will be Bazazhapov who will get the last of the men's quarterfinals underway.
9. 9 or 10, too close to call.
On the line. Right. All important third arrow here. A 10 and a measure up for Bazhazharpov, and he's got the first 2 set points.
9.
That's a 9, and got a chance to have a look at that second arrow, Nicky. Looked like it was just outside the 10.
Yeah, gonna have to wait for a call on it, but
Yeah, that could give Shani the points. I got a gut feeling that that second arrow is just outside. If it touches the line, of course, it gets marked up to the higher score, but it looked like there was a little bit of clearance between the arrow and the line.
yeah, it'd be up to the judge at the target with their magnifying glass to find out whether they feel it's in or out. They'll look from both sides. If they can't tell, if they don't, they can't make a decision, then it has to be in. So they've got to clearly identify that it's out for it to be the lower score.
Got to look back at the action and the process the athletes go through. Unique to each of them, they do conform to some similarities, but ultimately the process is developed by the coach and archer and does become unique. Well, it looks like we have had a markup of that arrow. It's gone up to a 10 for Bazhazharpov, so they both finish on a 28 and are tied at 1 set point each. Good call, Nicky.
No.
Now, did Bazhazharpov try and steer that first arrow?
Yeah, I think we saw a big movement there.
Yeah, a little bit more what we're used to with the archer just releasing.
No.
Big chance here. And 9 will be enough for the set points. And it's a 9 that he's got, so a 28 again for Bazhazharpov. He'll go 3-1 up after the second set. Now, a curious set of arrows there from Shani there. Nerves or a breakdown in process, perhaps?
Maybe. I mean, that last arrow to me looked a little bit what I called soft. So instead of, maintaining that pushing and pulling and that clicker going, the fingers relaxing and having that lovely follow through, just saw a little bit of movement inward. So looked like he just, lost the pressure a little bit. Maybe that's what the coach is going through with him now. That will cause it to go right. Okay, so, just got to keep the tension of the shot moving, keep his back tension and just relax, just the fingers. That's just a reaction to the clicker. It's not something you have to think about. That just happens. Keep your focus on your back tension.
So, if you're not familiar with that terminology, the soft shot clearly is not something that you want to do. And that was the first arrow from Bazhazharpov. You saw him pulling the bow across to the left-hand side after releasing the arrow, just trying to steer it a little bit towards the left. But if you're looking for a soft shot, what would you advise someone like me, who doesn't know everything about the sport, to look for? How can you spot a soft shot?
So if you've seen a little movement of the back elbow going forward, something like that, that's the best way to spot it on release.
Well, we go into set number 3, Shani trailing by 3 set points to 1.
9. No.
Probably one of the biggest differences, look at the side rods, really long, quite low as well. And in comparison, Bazhazharpov much shorter and no angle on them, just straight out.
And those rods, are there just to balance the whole bow?
Yep, imagine you're walking on a tightrope. This is your balance left to right to try and keep the bow as still as possible.
Ooh. There's a chance there for Shani, but he's left the door open here. Bazhazharpov can take this with a 10. And he's dropped it into the 8. A 26 from Bazhazharpov, and we are all square. Now, what on earth happened to that final shot? That's his lowest score so far in the match.
Yeah, that was a surprise. Maybe, you know, maybe a bit of forward thinking. I don't know. You know, what's he thinking this one? Oh, I could be 5-1 up here, but you'd hope not. You'd hope he's trying to keep his brain on just what he's trying to do, just that one shot at a time. But you know, it's a high pressure event. They want to win this. They want to show how good they are on the world stage right now.
Well, not to mention the world ranking points that are available, assuming they go to the Olympic Games having won the quota place for their respective countries. The points available here are critical in who or how you're set up for the games.
They'll go, so when they get to the games, they'll go through a qualification round. So it'll be a 72 arrow round, normal qualification they do. That will seed them. But you know, the higher your ranking, I mean, that just gives you better confidence, doesn't it? So it is important from that point of view.
3 apiece after 3 sets. Going to the 4th. We've seen one stray arrow from Bazhazharpov that afforded the tying points for Shani. He'll shoot first in set number 4. Back into the middle. So 2 10s already. A third will give him the set points. Into the 9. 29. He's back in the middle though, Bazhazharpov. Shani needs a 10 to draw level and share the points. And hits it into the 9 for a 28. Still better shooting from both of them, but ever so slightly better for Bazhazharpov. He leads now by 5 set points to 3. A much stronger performance from the Russian athlete in that 4th set.
Yeah, he's really starting to get it together now. Look at the relaxation, having a laugh with his coach. And, you know, that's important to relax between the ends, you know, get the heart rate down, just enjoy it.
Shani there with his coach, trying to stay relaxed himself. Not out of this, but he does need to have a clear win in set number 5. He'll shoot first, and in some respects that makes it a little bit easy for Bazhazharpov because all he has to do is match them. But as you always say, Nikki, the archers tend not to look at what their opponent has scored.
Yeah, certainly within the end, you know, they'll just be thinking about their own shot process, 1 arrow at a time, do the best you can do with it.
Well, here we go. Time to find out who will make it into the semi-finals. Bazhazharpov holding the lead as things stand. Shani will shoot first. Another bit of steering going on there. They've all gone right, and a 24 is almost certainly going to get beaten here. A 5 is all that's required for a place in the semi-finals for Bazhazharpov. And he's put it into the 9 for a 28 in the end and wins this one clearly. 7 set points to 3. He was the clear favourite, wasn't he, Nikki? And you got to be impressed by Ite Shani for pushing it to 5 sets, but he just looked really strong in those last 2 sets, did the Russian.
Yeah, he did. You know, he's shown his class, some 28s in there, 29. You know, that's what he can do. That's what he's made of. So, yeah, Shani shot well. A few ends again, a couple of 28s in there. So, a good match. But I think Shani just over-adjusted at the end. They were going left on the 4th set and then right on the 5th. So, maybe an overcompensation was enough for him to lose the match.
Well, congratulations to him, Slavomir Aplosek and Matthias Ballon. They've secured quota places for the Olympic Games for Hungary, Poland and Israel respectively. The other losing quarter-finalists, Kyorhei Ivansky, congratulations to him, the Ukrainian, also secured a quota place along with his teammate who beat him in the quarter-finals, Alexei Hunbin. But it will be Hunbin, Olaru, Wikström and Bazhazharpov into the semi-finals here in Paris as we take a look back on that 4th quarter-final. So Nikki, we've got 4 left in the competition. Who are you putting your €1 on in our friendly bet for the win?
You know, I might go Bazhazharpov. I think, you know, he is one of the highest ranked here, number 4 in the world. You know, he's doing a bit of bow kwando there, a bit of steerage, but, you know, on paper, he is the best athlete here. He seeded 2nd as well, so I'll put my final dollar on him.
Yeah, and actually, overall, you have to say he's the one that's displayed the least nerves here in Paris. He looks comfortable, looks confident. 1 stray arrow into the 8 in the 3rd set for him, but otherwise 10s and 9s and looking very solid indeed. They're the local school children getting a good view of athletes that we're very likely to see at the Tokyo Olympic Games. I wonder if this is the start of their burgeoning archery careers. So we look down on the field. There's a sort of plate competition going on in this massive stadium. The archers are shooting to go off, and I've noticed also that they are also preparing for the Hyundai Archery World Cup coming up this week. A critical competition, Nikki.
Absolutely, the final World Cup stage of this year. So the archers are there practicing today, and qualification starts tomorrow.
Well, the outcome of this match, it is pretty simple indeed. The winner will go on to the gold medal match. The loser will head over to the bronze medal confrontation. Our line judge is already in position, impatiently awaiting for the archers' arrival. The coaches are in their boxes. Time now to welcome,
well, it is time to move straight on to the semi-finals here in Paris. Our first semi-final will see Ukraine's Alexei Hunbin going up against Moldova's Dan Olaru. Let's go down for the athlete introductions.
And walking up to the shooting line for the official archer introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, shooting on target number 1, representing Moldova, Dan Olaru. And his opponent, shooting on target number 2, representing Ukraine, Alexei Hunbin. The line judge for this matchup is Christina Tiflidu. Semi-final matchup number 1. a chance to secure passage into the gold medal match here, available for the taking. As
Well,
we look downrange to see
as our stadium announcer is saying, win this and you're into the gold medal match. The loser will come back out and shoot again for bronze here in Paris. Clearly very important matches for all of them, but perhaps there's a little bit more extra spice here for Alexei Hunbin, who is going to get this semi-final underway. Starts with a 9, and Hunbin here has already beaten teammate Jorge Ivanskij in the quarterfinals. But the further and the deeper he goes into this competition, the more likely he is to get the Ukrainian place at Tokyo 2020.
10, 10.
Didn't look entirely comfortable with that shot, Hunbin. Olaru shot one almost in the middle of the target and then immediately went and changed his sight, but he's got the 10 he needs for a 29. Impressive start from the pair of them, but the set points go to Olaru. Look, high scores, but how quick is this shooting?
Yeah, this one could be really interesting in the timing. So if Olaru can really keep them going, we saw him reset a few times in the earlier match. You know, if he can stick to that timing, get them away, he's using what, 7, 8 seconds maybe. Whereas Alexei Humbu he's much longer holds, you know, much longer timing. So, you know, if your opponent's not giving you much time between shots and you're spending 10 seconds at full draw, this could come down to a match of kind of fatigue, you know. Just all that lactic acid in your arms, so it's going to be quite an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, it certainly is. One other thing that you can clearly see is that Hunbin is not showing the same kind of nerves as he did in his quarterfinal against Ivanskij. The pressure's come off a little bit, I think, for him.
Yeah, that match had to be in their heads, their head-to-head for that Olympic spot, didn't it? So the pressure he was under in that match must be immense. But like you said, he still wants to get out here and win this tournament.
Starts set number 2 with a 9. And just to be completely clear, we've been told, Ukrainians have said they're not going to select today between Hunbin and Ivanskij. But Olaru again with another fast shot.
9. 8.
Well, straight one high right for Olaru, and they're all square. One low, one high, one straight in the middle. A 28 for Alexei Hunbin.
9.
And a 9 to finish off means a 27 for Olaru and 2 set points apiece. Now, Nikki, explain this. We saw 3 really super fast arrows from Olaru in the first set, 9, 10, 10, shooting brilliantly. First arrow went out very quick in the second set, and then he just seemed to slow down a little bit. And look what happened to the scores, 8 and 9.
Yeah, I mean, those flags were blowing quite hard to the left, and I wonder, his arrow ended up about 2 o'clock 8. Was he aiming there because of those flags? Like I say, I think they pick up quite a lot of movement even if there isn't that much wind, and whether he just lost his confidence a little bit, the shot slowed down, had hesitation in it, you can see it blown a little bit there. So, you know, I don't know, you know, just trying to see what differences there could be, but he obviously wasn't happy with it.
And while you were talking about that, I just got a shot of the digital windsock, which is right in the middle of the scores between the targets, and that is changing direction every time it flicks up. So swirling winds, 2 apiece. Alexei Hunbin to shoot first. Set number 3 starts with a 10 for the Ukrainian.
10.
Oh, both archers smack bang in the middle of the target. Oh, a little bit of movement there, but managed to get it into the center again for our first perfect of the day. Followed by the second. What brilliant shooting from the pair of them. Set point shared here, and this promises to come to a brilliant climax here this match. 3 apiece after 3 sets. What about that, Nikki?
What fantastic shooting. I mean, on raw score, looking back as well, we're exactly all tied up. There's nothing between these archers at all. Fantastic shooting. You've got to think, you know, that 10 is the size of a CD. So it's just really hard, you know, it's 70 metres and we have got those winds that are changing a little bit in the stadium, so fantastic shooting.
Yeah, brilliant stuff, and they look like they're just having a little bit of a better time of it in terms of the nerves as well. Just settled after winning their quarterfinals. Perhaps the shackles off a little bit for the pair of them, especially this man here, Alexei Hunbin. It's such a critical match, you have to say, even though the Ukrainians have said they're not going to choose between Hunbin and Ivansky here. Surely, the further he goes into this competition, the more chance he's got of going to Tokyo. 3 apiece, Hunbin to shoot first in the 4th set. Good grouping, but just going out into the 9. Reset from Alaru. We saw that in the quarterfinals. Got away with it that time. Got away with it this time as well, and has leveled up. Good grouping for a 29. Target that's gettable for Olaru with a 10, and that's what he gets. Nothing between them again. 4-4 after 4 sets, and we're taking this one into a 5th. And at the moment, you can't split the pair of these. Any hints of any breaks in the armor at all, Nikki?
Well, I think with Dan coming down again on that second shot there, I think it just shows something's not quite right with his process. So having a reason just to come down, you want to get rid of that really. You want to keep that consistency, because I think his quick shots, like I say, put that pressure back on Hunbin. So, you know, I would be aiming for him to do that, keep it moving, keep the flow. So it just shows maybe there's a little you know, question in his mind, is something wrong, so having to come down. But otherwise, I mean, these guys are shooting so well.
They really are. It's come down to the final 3 arrows, potentially, but if they're all tied after that, we will go to a shoot-off, a tiebreaker, which is a single arrow. But first up, it's set number 5. Hunbin trying to settle his nerves. Just held on to the line there. There was a bit of movement as well. Back into the quick shooting from Alaru, the Moldovan. Well, we saw that an 8 can cause big problems. A bit of a swing over there. Now that's hit the line, so that's a 9. Alaru showing us his Bokwando. Into the 10 for a 20. Well, it's a 27 on the scoreboard. I had him marked down for an 8, but this one could be out of reach. It is Alaru with a 29 to finish, and that is a brilliant performance from him. Nikki, you called it, and Alaru has come through in 5, and he looked so good in the last 3 sets. 30, 29 and 29.
He really did, you know, so strong. The fast shots are really key, I think, to his technique, and if he can keep going with those, he's going to be really one to look for in this gold medal match.
Yeah, incredible performance from the two of them through sets 3 and 4, matching each other and dropping just 1 point each. But a 27 in the end for Hunbin. That one wild arrow has cost him a place in the gold medal match. We will see Hunbin again shooting for bronze. But first we'll have semi-final number 2 as the athletes make their way back to the call room, preparing for the respective matches. We take a look back. Nikki, you talked about perhaps something not quite right with Hunbin's process.
I think just some of his shots were just slightly longer, weren't they? You could see the timing wasn't consistent. We'd always look for consistency in how long you're up at full draw to then releasing, and I think just particularly in that last end, a little bit longer, and perhaps on some of those holds. So, you know, you could tell a little bit of balance off on that shot maybe. So, you know, what an incredible performance though. You know, he's going to be tough to beat, I think, even in the bronze too.
But Olaru, a similar issue actually. It's just that he shot more freely, more frequently in that semi-final than he did in the quarterfinals. It's when he's going quick through his process that he's getting the big scores.
Yeah, he just looked like he was having fun out there. You know, he was just matching, and then we're putting a great score. He'd come back and match it with his 30 or 29, and he was kind of smiling on the line and just enjoying the shooting. So I think, you know, that relaxation as well really helped him with that one.
Well, Hunbin pushed into the bronze medal match, Olaru into the gold medal match. It's now time to see who each of them will face as we go to semi-final number 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, shooting on target number 1, representing Finland, Antti Wikström. And his opponent, shooting on target number 2, representing the Russian Federation, Galsan Bazarjapov. The line judge for this matchup is Christina Reitmeyer.
Well, here we go for semi-final number 2. I'm going to say it, Nikki. Gazlan Bazarjapov is the clear favourite for this and could well do this in 3 sets.
Agreed. You know, 3 sets, oh, I don't know. I'm going to say we're going to take it to the 4th set.
Well, let's find out who is going to make it into the gold and who is going to have to come back and shoot for the bronze medal. Bazarjapov versus Wikström, and it's Bazarjapov to get us underway.
Nine. 10.
Well, that's the start the Finn would have wanted. Bodes well for the Russian Federation archer.
Nine.
28 there, and it looked a bit like Bazarjapov was steering that one to the right. Nine is enough for the points. A 29 is a strong start from Wikström. This is not certainly what I expected. The Finn has come out absolutely in the center of the target.
Yeah, he shot well, didn't he, in his quarterfinal? You know, 2 ends of 29. he can shoot well. I don't think this was going to be a walkover. It's going to be a tough match. Bazazarshov is, you know, world number 4, so quite a competitor to go against.
Yeah, and a strong start, clearly very important when you're up against someone as good as Bazazarshov. I suppose Wikström's had a little bit of a longer rest. Does that make that much difference?
I think that could go either way. It can make you have some time out to sit and have a long think about things as well, which can be detrimental. So, yeah, it can go either way on whether that's helpful for you or not. But it doesn't really make a big difference, you know, physically.
Well, the world number 4 finds himself 2 set points to 0 down. And Kazan Bazazarshov starts off set number 2 with a pressurizing 10.
9. No.
So a 10 here from Bazazarshov puts this one out of reach and will put the pair of them level on 2 set points each. 9 leaves the door open. Back-to-back 28s for the Russian. Antti Wikström. He's delivering, isn't he? 3 set points to 1. He had a lot of pressure on to shoot that 10 to level things up. They share the set points, and he maintains his 2 set point lead.
Yeah, really, really good shooting. Like I say, he shot well through the quarterfinal as well. So, you know, we expect him to come out here and do a similar thing, really. So he's on form. He's given Bazazarshov, you know, a run for his money, which is we want to see. And this is a tight match.
It certainly is. 3-1, Wikström leading. Not what we expected. Wikström is the world number 88. He's 28 years old, similar to Bazazarshov, 26 years old. Probably been on the circuit a similar amount of time. But the Russian is the world number 4. And strong favourite, not just for this match, but for the title here in Paris. Very impressed by Antti Wikström. Not only has he secured a quota place for Finland at the Olympic Games, but he's also in this fight and leading. Time for set number 3.
9. No. 8.
Well, where we've seen an 8 so far today, that has meant the set has got away.
9.
Oof.
No.
Well, that 10 levels things up. And a 9 means there is a chance here for Wikström. A 10 will give him the set points. Pushed it into the 8 for a 26. So at least there's some consistency there. He shot an 8 at the start, and I said an 8 usually means you miss out on the set points, and that is what's happened. Despite having an opportunity to go 5-1 up, Wikström finds himself at 3 apiece. What exactly is going to be going through both of these archers' minds right now after an opportunity that got away from the Finn eventually?
Yeah, big shame for him because the door was wide open and he really could have taken it. Pastor Sharpoff's interesting because he keeps doing these big swings to the left, doesn't he? And I think, generally speaking, your front arm makes things go to the right. So whether he's a little bit soft on the front arm and he's really trying to pull it across to try and make something of it and get it closer to the middle, but, you know, they're not the nice, consistent shots we usually see. When you start swinging your arm around, something's not quite right. So let's see if he can settle back down.
Well, it was enough to draw level here. Whatever happens, we're going to be going to 5 sets in this one. 3 apiece. Bazhazharpov gets set number 4 underway.
Really interesting shot. Did you see a little bit of movement from the back elbow there? Fantastic camera angle, but he still completed the shot. Great execution and into the 10.
9. No.
Well, a couple of adjustments made by Vikström after a 9. And this will be piling the pressure on the Finn. Opportunity to go into the lead for the first time.
9. No.
Wasn't happy. 29. A 10 required to share the points.
No.
And puts it high there, so the points go to the Russian. 2 big sighs, or you perhaps holding back an expletive, Nikki.
Just thought I saw a little bit of movement, whether it was a little movement down on that last arrow. I thought something looked a bit different, and then it went high in the 9 from Vikström. But yeah, Bazhazharpov is still not kind of happy, is he? That was a swing from the other side this time. He went left and he was trying to correct it to the right. So, you know, he can obviously feel his shot. He's got fantastic sensation of what's going on. And when that release happens, he knows immediately where the arrow's headed and he's trying to make an influence to it quite quickly. But he just needs to keep his form and do his normal shot because we know they can hit the 10. That was that last one. I just saw a little bit of movement down as he released, so...
Well, Bazhazharpov, despite the difficulties he may be facing at the moment, has taken the lead for the first time. Vikström will have to try and fight back in the 5th set here.
9. No. 10.
Just clipping the line. Bit more like it, Nikki?
Yeah, see the difference? No bow kondo, just good, well-balanced shots.
Into the 10 to make it as difficult as possible, but a chance here to take this one. A 9 is all he needs.
9.
And it's a 9 that he gets, 4 of 29. They'll share the set points, but that is enough for a 6-4 win for Ghassan Bazhazharpov. I said it would be done in 3. Nikki, you said it would take at least 4. You were right. It actually took 5 in the end. And nervy moments for Bazhazharpov throughout until the last set.
We're just going to wait for
Yeah, he really settled down, didn't he, in that last set? Lots of corrections through the match, but he's just got to stick with those nicely balanced shots, nice follow through. They're the ones we see hit the 10.
He'll be taking on Ukraine's very own Alexei Udin. And a little bit later on, will be back to square off with Moldova.
Well, there we have it. Bajajarpov through to the gold medal match where he'll face Dan Olaru. Antti Wikström into the bronze medal match, which is coming up very soon, up against Alexei Hunbin of Ukraine. Finland versus Ukraine for bronze. Moldova versus the Russian Federation for gold. Now, we talked about rest periods between matches. Look, let's be fair, that Alexei Hunbin has had a much longer period just to settle himself down for the bronze medal match. Is that going to make a difference, or are you still of the feeling that it doesn't have any major impact when they're in these tense conditions?
I think the mental side of things is the biggest difference. So I think if you just came off and had a really bad loss, walking straight back on for your bronze is really tough. You probably want to go away and kind of reflect and get rid of some of that baggage perhaps in your mind. But, you know, Wikström shot pretty well through that match. He knows he can shoot good arrows. He knows he can shoot well enough. So maybe coming back on the stage again quite quickly, you know, stay in your groove, keep the feeling. A lot of archery is about the feeling of the shot. The next one to the next one, you know, keeping the same kind of feelings in your body. So, you know, he might have an advantage that he can step right back out here and do that again.
I counter that with the fact that he had a very good chance of winning that match against Bajajarpov, and perhaps there's a bit of disappointment in there that's going to be mixed in with the fact that he will go, yes, I was shooting quite well.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to put that to the side. That match was gone. Like a bad arrow, we're not robots, you know. We're human beings, we make mistakes. Some shots don't go as you want them to, but you've got to get rid of that in your mind quite quickly and move on and stay in the present.
Easier said than done. But you're hearing it from a former world number one. Who better to get the information from? So 2 more matches here in this qualifier. The countries have got their quota places booked. Well, in fact, we had the quota places booked at the quarterfinal stage. Ukraine, Hungary, Poland, Israel, Finland, Moldova, and the Russian Federation collecting their quota places here on the last chance to qualify for Tokyo 2020 for the archery tournament. We suspect that teams here have effectively used this competition as their qualification tournament for the quota places. We won't know that until the countries, 1, accept the places that have been given to them, and 2, then select their athletes. But we think it'll be a toss-up between Ivanskaya and Hunbin. Hunbin perhaps with one hand on a ticket to Tokyo, but everyone else we've seen here today will be in the Japanese capital in 32 days' time. Time now for bronze here in Paris. Time for the athlete introductions.
All right, they're joining us now on the official shooting line. Ladies and gentlemen, shooting on target number 1. Representing Ukraine, Alexei Hunbin. And his opponent, shooting on target number 2. Representing Finland, Antti Wikström. The line judge for this matchup is Christina Tiflin.
So here we go. World number 88, Antti Wikström of Finland, up against the world number 87, Alexei Hunbin of Ukraine. Not very much between them in terms of world ranking, and they both shot well in their semi-finals despite losing. This for the bronze medal, And it's Alexei Hunbin of Ukraine who will start.
9, 9.
Beautiful grouping. And those ones drifted over to the left. 27 gettable here for Wikström.
7 set.
Just about, as it turns out. A 27 for the pair of them. Those two final arrows both going off to the left, Nikki. Is that wind, do you think?
I mean, we haven't got a fantastic view, but I think it doesn't look like that much wind going on. I think Wikström, I think that last shot again just wasn't quite the same. A little bit of different movement perhaps there. The first two shots, gorgeous, weren't they? So maybe that forward thinking of, oh, I could win this set. Maybe that crept into his mind. But we can see those feather flags in the background there, giving them lots of information on what's happening. And we know in this stadium the wind is swirling.
Well, we definitely see the digital windsock blowing from right to left. Perhaps that did change. It's hard to know exactly what's going on the field of play. Another quick one for you. Wikström shot well in the semi-finals on target number 1. He's come out within less than 5 minutes of losing that semi-final on target number 2. How much of a difference will that make?
Probably not much. I mean, we're in the middle of a stadium. The sun looks to be behind the clouds at the moment. A string picture won't be too much different, so I wouldn't say too much difference.
Hunbin in the middle of the target again. Starts set number 2 with a 10.
9.
That one on the line for a 9. Chance to put this out of reach. Shoots a 29, so a 10 here from Wikström and we'll still all be square. Looks very calm and comfortable with that, so a 29 for him as well, and we are all square. Bit of nerves here again, I think, playing their part. An opportunity for Hunbin to put it out of reach, having shot 2 great 10s, then pushes it into the 9. Wikström showing a bit of balance there and a bit of grit to score his last 10 though.
Yeah, I think Hunbin come off the line, you know, signifying to his coach his release hand. So where there was a little bit of tension, difference in his release, that might have caused that 9. But yeah, great shooting from both of them again, 29s.
Get a good look down the 70-meter range. There you go, that's what Nicky was referring to. He wasn't happy with the release for his 3rd arrow. Wikström will be delighted, though, that he's taken the opportunity when it came to level things up. Under pressure, having to shoot a 10, did just that. 2 apiece after 2 sets. Alexei Hunbin to shoot first in set number 3.
Eight or 9, too close to call.
Ooh.
9-9.
Grimace there from the Ukrainian. This is a crucial arrow, I think, for Hunbin. So marked as a 27, but that could be pushed down to a 26. A 9, and the points are his. And that's just what he got. A 28 won't be matched. The measure, if anything, is going to push Hunbin's score down, and Wikström leads by 4 set points to 2. Nikki, your thoughts on that first arrow from Hunbin? It's put on the scoreboard as a 9.
Yeah, I think that was another close one to call. I just saw a bit of movement, I thought, in his front arm as he released, so I wonder whether that was the reason it went off to the right. But then he just generally just couldn't get back into the middle, could he?
No, a little bit of a struggle through that set for Alexei Hunbin. And again, Antti Wikström finds himself in the lead, and if he can secure both set points here, he will secure the bronze medal in Paris and a hat load of ranking points. Time for set number 4. Alexei Hunbin didn't enjoy set number 3, despite scoring a 27 out of 30. He's going to get us underway for set number 4. Back in the center for the Ukrainian, but Wikström with the first 10 has put himself in a strong position here. Next has a big chance now. Wikström has got to put some pressure on with a 10. Just what he does with a 29, but here's a big chance here for Antti Wikström to take the bronze in Paris. He needs a 10. Pushes it into the 9, so 29 apiece, and that's not quite enough. Wikström will share the points with Hunbin and stays 2 points ahead at 5-3 up. Now, it looks to me like there's a pattern going on here, Nikki, and you know I love patterns. Wikström, when he has an opportunity, the first one he takes, the next one he doesn't take. And we've seen that happen twice so far through the semi-finals and this bronze medal match. If he's given an opportunity in set number 5 here, my bet is he's going to take it.
Yeah, there's every possibility of that. I mean, yeah, he just seems to lose a bit of the flow and just got to stay with his normal shot process. Both these archers shooting ever so well. When they do shoot well, it's like I say, it's the points they drop that make the biggest difference.
Well, a couple of slightly longer holds for the Finn there. If he can sort that out, I think he's got a good chance. But Hunbin, still in with a shout, needs to win this set.
9.
A 9 is a great score from 70 meters, but this man here will see it as an opportunity.
9.
So, Hunbin with a chance to level up here. Needs a 10. Gets a 9. So he's now left the door open. It's a 10 that's required for Vikström to level up the scores. And that'll be enough to win the bronze. Quick shot in the 10, gets the 28 to level up on scores in the set and wins the single set point to take the bronze medal 6 points to 4 against Alexei Hunbin. It is Antti Vikström of Finland with bronze in France. Well, I did say if he's given an opportunity, alternates, and it was his turn to take the opportunity. But joking aside, brilliant performance from the pair of them, and like you say, it comes down to just 1 or 2 arrows.
Yeah, some really good shooting in there. You know, the first set, both shooting 1 red, but other than that, keeping them all in the 9s and 10s. You know, a nail-biting match from start to finish, and some amazing shooting.
Yeah, great stuff from the pair of them. Question for Alexei Hunbin is, has he done enough to persuade the Ukrainian Federation to pick him for the Olympic Games in Tokyo over his teammate Ivan Sky? I think we can safely say that Antti Vikström, with a bronze medal and some very strong shooting here in Paris, has booked his place on the Finnish squad. Just the 1 or 2 arrows going astray for Hunbin. But the tightest of bronze medal matches taken by this man, Antti Vikström of Finland.
Well, you know how it works. If we did award a bronze medal, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, the sun is back out here in Paris, just in time for the gold medal match. Gazlan Bajazharpov of Russia struggled through his semi-final, but came from behind to win it. And it was the fast shooting of Dan Olaru of Moldova that pushed him through his semi-final. Here they come. Let's go down for the athlete introductions.
The 2 archers joining us now, getting ready to shoot for gold and shoot for glory. Ladies and gentlemen, shooting on target number 1, representing Moldova, Dan Olaru. And his opponent, shooting on target number 2, representing the Russian Federation, Gazlan Bajazharpov. The line judge for this matchup is Christina Reitmeier. Well, there it is. The stage is set for a gold medal match.
Time to go for gold here in Paris. Dan Olaru of Moldova went to the Olympic Games in 2012, finishing 9th. Has booked a place for Moldova at Tokyo 2020, and he's going up against the world number 4, former world university champion, Gazlan Bajazharpov of Russia. Nervy moments for Bajazharpov in the semi-finals, but when Olaru shoots fast, he shoots well. Bajazharpov to get the gold medal match underway.
9, 9.
Both drifting off to the right with their first sighting arrows.
10.
Just watch the flags though where you can. The flags are all going to the left, and I wonder if they're just over-aiming off.
9 here will be enough for an early lead.
8.
He's pushed it out. To the left, a 27. A 10 will match it, but it's a 9 in the end for Olaru. Shooting fast, but just drifting out to the left. So 2 set points to Bajajarpov. Nikki, you mentioned the wind. You're seeing something that perhaps not all of us spotted.
Yeah, I think it's just changing. You know, those flags give quite a lot of information. I think they move quite easily, but I think they could be all the way left with a small breeze or a larger breeze as well. And I think the first arrow they probably both over-aimed off, and then the latter arrow in the set they maybe didn't aim off enough and they both went left with it. So I think it is making an impact on them.
We do remember, of course, our previous tournaments taking place.
Yeah, the worst of conditions we saw on Friday with lightning actually stopping play, but that's really the only reason for archers not to shoot. But when they are shooting, the most terrible conditions are gusty winds, because they just can't get their aim right. As you can see, the wind is gusting, it's blowing right to left, but not at a consistent speed. Olaru, the Moldovan, gets set number 2 underway, and that's what he needed. A 10 to settle his nerves. So again, opportunity for Olaru to put some pressure on with a 10. And that's just what he's done. So now Bajajarpov needs a 10 to level up on points and hold his 2-set point lead.
9.
Drops it into the 9, and just like that, we're all square again. Little increase in intensity in their shooting. They've got a little bit faster. Is that because they just want to get the arrow out of the bow and almost ignore the wind?
Yeah, I mean, the best thing to do in windy conditions, especially if you don't know how to aim, is just shoot a strong shot, nice fast timing, because, you know, if you make any kind of error, the wind multiplies that error. So shooting the, you know, the strongest shots you possibly can is really important.
Yeah, well, we've seen it very clearly. They're both shooting very quickly indeed in that second set compared to how they shot in the first. Not that the first was slow by any means, but it was noticeably quicker in the second. Looks like Bajajarpov's shaken off the process issues he was having in the semi-finals as well, Nikki.
Yeah, less kind of steering happening, so, you know, better balance through the shot.
All square here after 2 sets as Bajajarpov shoots first in this gold medal match against Olaru. You can see those flags in the background gusting away. They're not blowing just clearly in one direction.
9.
So a 29 is a great score, but Olaru on for a 30.
8. Oh, the pressure shot there.
Couldn't have gone worse. From a 9 would have been enough to level up the points, but in the end pushes it over into the left, and you saw a little bit of steering going on as well from Olaru, so it wasn't necessarily just wind related, that one.
Yeah, he knew immediately it was going to go left, so natural instinct, trying to pull it across, see if he can get it closer to the goal if he can. But I saw him kind of smile after that second shot. He's looking a bit more relaxed, sort of, back to that normal sort of standard we saw of him in the semi-final when he's shooting really well. So I was expecting him to take that one.
Yeah, there was a big opportunity for him, and just again, that where opportunity abounds, it comes with a certain amount of nerves, doesn't it, and a certain amount of tension.
Yeah, these guys definitely want to win this tournament. It's the penultimate test, really, to get your name on the top of a podium and show people what you're made of.
4-2 to the Russian, so Dan Alaru of Moldova will shoot first in set number 4 and puts it straight into the middle of the target.
No. 10.
Again, we're back to that fast shooting from Alaru.
10. 8.
Well, here is a chance. A 10 for the gold for Bazhazharpov.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's on the line. I think he's done enough there. Just about on the line for a 29. And just like that, the gold medal has gone to Ghassan Bazhazharpov of the Russian Federation. He wins the match 6-2 over Dan Alaru. The pair of them secured their Olympic quota places for their countries. This was about individual opportunity, and it's Bazhazharpov with the gold in Paris. Well, that came around very, very quickly in the end, didn't it, Nicky? And just like that, the opportunity presented itself, and within seconds, Bazhazharpov had let go of the winning arrow.
It really did. He showed, what he's made of. The world number 4, didn't have his Olympic spot before today. So, he had to make the Olympics, didn't he? He had to be there. It would have been a hole without him, and he just showed how good he is.
He certainly did. The speed at which that match turned around in the end was incredibly fast, but Ghassan Bazhazharpov has taken the gold here. It's been a brilliant display here after 2 days of very wet conditions. It's been a perfect day for some great shooting here. Olympic qualification secured for Ukraine, Hungary, Poland, Israel, Finland, Moldova, and finally Ghassan Bazhazharpov getting a quota place in the individual tournament for Russia. Let's see what he has to say.
Очень хороший день. Что ты теперь чувствуешь? Тем более у тебя квота, но теперь еще ты выиграл.
Спасибо за поздравления. И, конечно, в первую очередь хотел отблагодарить спортивный комитет Франции и всех организаторов, судей, всех спортсменов с таким замечательным, скажем так, праздником с любой из лука. И сейчас уже буду напрямую готовиться к Олимпийским играм.
He said that he would like to thank all the organizers, everybody that helped to organize it, and he will prepare himself to the Olympic Games. Как важна эта победа для тебя?
Ну, эта медаль, конечно, очень важна для меня. Это дает мне намного больше уверенности, и чтобы хорошо выступить на Олимпийских играх.
It's just an important win, and it gives confidence. He can perform well also at the Olympic Games. И это лучше стрелять, когда ты получил квоту, ты знал, ты будешь в Токио, и ты мог только стрелять?
Можете еще раз повторить? Я не полностью понял, если честно. Вопрос еще раз.
Когда ты был расслаблен, получил фото, ты не думал, что или ты будешь в Токио, не будешь, ты только мог стрелять финал.
Да, вот это, конечно, интересный момент. Я даже не знал, что я попал, ну, выиграл олимпийскую квоту. Ну, так настраивался дальше. Там люди все радовались, там друг другу руки жали. Ну, думал, ну, 8 сильнейших вошли и радуются. И потом мой товарищ по команде сказал то, что вот у тебя есть уже олимпийская квота. Ну, и это же, конечно, не знаю, как описать этими словами, но это было вау.
I didn't know that I got a quota. I saw other people, they were celebrating, so I thought that I could get that. And then one of the teammates told to me I was qualified. Спасибо большое.
Спасибо вам.
There you go. He was so focused, he didn't even know he'd qualified for a quota place for the Olympic Games. Well, it's been a brilliant session one. We've got another session to come, but Nikki, highlights from that particular session?
Yeah, I think Gazlan, you know, he shot incredibly well, didn't he, through that session, and deservedly took his Olympic spot and the tournament too.
Yeah, I think this man here as well, Alexei Hunbin, beating his teammate Ivan Sky in the first quarter-final, could play a role in who goes to the Olympic Games from Ukraine. But 7 quota places booked here on the third qualification day, the last qualifier for the Olympic Games. And you know what? We're not done yet. In just under an hour's time, we'll be back in this stadium to find out which women will claim 5 individual spots available to them for Tokyo 2020. Thanks to you, Nikki, and thanks to all of you for watching. Do come back in about an hour's time. In the meantime, we'll leave you with highlights of Bazha Zarpov winning in Paris.